My dear child, there are moments in life when everything around you goes completely silent. Not the kind of silence that feels empty or lonely, but the kind that feels full of something warm, something breathing, something alive. This is one of those moments. Right now, in this very second. As you sit wherever you are, as your eyes read these words, and your heart quietly listens, something extraordinary is already happening inside you. You may not be able to name it. You may not even be able to feel it clearly just yet. But deep beneath the surface of your thoughts, beneath the layers of everything you have been carrying, something is beginning to shift. Something is beginning to soften. And that something is not coming from you. It is coming toward you. It is coming for you. And it has never once stopped moving in your direction. Not even on the days when you were convinced that you were completely and utterly alone. You have lived through seasons that were not easy. You have walked through stretches of time where the weight on your shoulders felt so unbearable that you wondered how you were still standing. You have had mornings where getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. You have had nights where the silence around you felt so loud with worry and fear, and unanswered questions that sleep simply would not come. You have smiled at people while your heart was quietly breaking behind that smile. You have said the words, "I am fine," so many times that eventually even you started to wonder if you were just saying them to survive the moment, rather than because they were true. And through all of that, through every single one of those heavy, aching, confusing days, you kept going. Maybe not perfectly. Maybe not with great confidence or great faith. But you kept going. And that matters more than you know. Healing does not always look the way we imagine it will. We think healing will come like a thunderstorm, loud and dramatic and impossible to miss. We think it will arrive with a clear moment, a definite before and after, a line we can point to and say, that is where everything changed. But real healing, the deep kind, the kind that actually reaches the places inside you that have been hurting the longest, that kind of healing moves differently. It moves quietly. It moves slowly. It moves the way dawn moves across the sky, so gradual you cannot pinpoint the exact second when darkness becomes light. But you look up and suddenly the whole world is different. That is how healing comes to a tired heart. Not all at once, not with fanfare, but steadily, surely, breath by breath, moment by moment, layer by layer. And it is happening to you right now, whether you can feel it or not. So do not rush this. Do not try to skip ahead to the part where everything makes sense and everything feels better. Stay here. Stay in this moment. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself simply be still without needing to figure anything out, without needing to solve anything, without needing to be stronger or braver or more together than you actually feel. The pressure to have it all figured out, the pressure to be okay faster, the pressure to move on and push through and get back to normal, all of that can wait. Right now, the only thing that is being asked of you is this: stay, breathe, and let something greater than your own understanding hold you here, in this quiet place where real healing begins. There is a rhythm to restoration, and it is not your rhythm. It is gentler than yours. It is slower than yours. It does not rush you. It does not look at your pain with impatience and say, "Are you not over this yet?" It looks at your pain with complete and total tenderness and says, "Take all the time you need. I am not going anywhere." That is the voice that is speaking to you right now. Not a voice of pressure. Not a voice of disappointment. Not a voice that is tallying up your failures or measuring your faith, or keeping score of how many times you have stumbled. A voice of extraordinary, unhurried, unconditional love. A voice that has been with you through every dark night, and every uncertain morning, and every moment in between. A voice that knows you completely, and loves you anyway. loves you not in spite of your brokenness, but right in the middle of it, loves you not when you are at your best, but especially when you are at your most fragile. Silence is not something to fear. You have been taught, perhaps by experience, perhaps by loss, perhaps by the long stretches of time, when you cried out and heard nothing back, you have been taught to distrust silence, to assume that silence means absence, to assume that if you cannot hear something, nothing is there. But silence, real silence, the kind that settles over your spirit in a moment like this, is not emptiness. It is sanctuary. It is the sacred space where the deepest healing happens. Think about how a seed grows. You plant it in the earth, and then there is silence. Days pass. Nothing visible happens. The ground looks exactly the same as it did before. And yet underneath the surface, something miraculous is in motion. Roots are forming. Life is organizing itself. Something that was not there before is becoming real, is becoming strong, is preparing itself for the moment it will break through into the light. That is what is happening in you right now. In the silence, in the stillness, in the waiting. Something is growing that you cannot yet see, and it is growing strong. You have spent so much energy trying to understand your pain, trying to make sense of it, trying to build a logical explanation for why things happened the way they did, why doors closed when you needed them to open, why people left when you needed them to stay, why prayers seemed to go unanswered, why the path you were walking led you somewhere so different from where you expected to end up. You have studied your own broken places the way a doctor studies an X-ray, looking for the source of the fracture, trying to diagnose, trying to treat, trying to fix. And there is nothing wrong with wanting to understand. But understanding is not always what heals. Sometimes what heals is simply presence, not explanation, not answers, not a detailed map of why everything happened, just presence. A closeness so warm and so certain that it reaches the places inside you that logic could never touch. You are not being asked today to understand everything. You are not being asked to have all the answers, or to figure out the timeline, or to know exactly where you are headed. You are simply being invited to feel something, to feel a nearness that is already here, already surrounding you, already breathing life into the tired and worn parts of your heart. Let that feeling be enough for right now. Let that presence be your anchor when the questions feel too heavy. Let that warmth be the thing that holds you steady when the ground beneath you feels uncertain. Because that presence does not require you to be strong. It does not require you to be put together. It does not require anything from you except the simple, honest, humble act of letting it in. My dear child, every video is created with prayer, time, and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through PayPal, you help keep this mission growing and touching more lives each day. God bless you abundantly. My dear child, you have been so good at hiding, so incredibly, painfully good at it. You learned early that the world was not always a safe place to fall apart. You learned that vulnerability could be used against you. You learned that if you showed people how much you were hurting, some of them would not know what to do with that, and some of them would walk away, and some of them would say the wrong thing, and the loneliness of being misunderstood in your pain was somehow even worse than the pain itself. So you built walls. You crafted a version of yourself that could be presented to the world, a version that was doing well enough, coping well enough, managing well enough. You learned to wear your smile like armor. You learned to answer, "How are you?" with, "I'm fine," before the words had even finished being asked. And you carried your real feelings, your real fears, your real exhaustion, quietly, privately, in the hidden rooms of your heart, where no one else was invited. But here is the thing about hidden pain. It does not disappear just because it is hidden. It waits. It accumulates. It quietly grows heavier with each passing day, until the weight of it becomes almost impossible to bear. And the loneliness of carrying something so heavy entirely alone, with no one to share the weight, no one to sit beside you in the darkness, no one to simply acknowledge that what you are going through is real and hard, and that you are not wrong for finding it difficult. That loneliness is its own kind of wound on top of the original wound. You were never meant to carry it alone. Not any of it. Not the grief, not the fear, not the confusion, not the disappointment, not the exhaustion, not the quiet, desperate hope that things might somehow get better, even when all the evidence seemed to point in the other direction. You were never meant to be so strong all by yourself. Strength was never supposed to mean silence. Courage was never supposed to mean pretending. And yet that is exactly what you taught yourself, because that is what survival required of you, and you did what you had to do to survive. But survival and healing are two different things, and you are ready now for something more than survival. You are ready to stop just getting through and to start actually being restored. And restoration begins not with performance, but with honesty. Not with having it all together, but with letting it all come apart, safely, tenderly, in the presence of something that can handle every single broken piece of you, without flinching, without stepping back, without deciding that you are too much or too broken or too far gone. Every tear you cried in private was witnessed. Every prayer you whispered when you were too tired to pray out loud was heard. Every silent moment when you lay in the dark and felt the weight of everything pressing down on your chest and had no words for it at all, not even that was missed. You were seen in all of it, in every hidden, unguarded, raw and honest moment. Seen not with judgment, but with the kind of love that does not need you to be anything other than exactly what you are in order to show up completely and fully for you. The mask you wear, you can let it rest now. Not forever, maybe not even for long, because life will ask you to put it back on tomorrow and the day after. But right here, right now, in this quiet space, in this moment that belongs entirely to you and to the love that is meeting you in it, you do not have to perform. You do not have to be okay. You do not have to have answers. You can simply be the real you. Tired, questioning, hurting, hoping, holding on by a thread some days, and somehow still here, still reading, still reaching, still breathing. That reaching, that refusal to give up even on the days when giving up would have been so much easier. That is not nothing. That is everything. That is the thing that moves mountains. That is the thing that opens doors. That is the very quality that makes your story not one of defeat, but one of the most remarkable, quiet, ongoing kind of courage. If you have been watching this channel and these messages have been speaking to your heart, take a moment right now to subscribe. Every time you subscribe, you are making sure that these words find you whenever you need them most. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and become part of a community of hearts that are all on this same journey of healing, hope, and deep spiritual renewal. We are glad you are here, my dear child. There is something important that must be said clearly and plainly, because you need to hear it. Your worth, your value, your place in this world. None of it is connected to how well you perform. None of it is connected to how much you achieve, how productive you are, how many people you impress, how successfully you manage to look like you have everything under control. You were not loved into existence because of your potential usefulness. You were loved into existence simply because you are you. And that love, the love that brought you here, that breathed life into you, that has been walking beside you through every single chapter of your story, that love has never once been conditional. It has never once depended on your performance. It has never once been in danger of running out. You think your mistakes disqualify you. They do not. You think your failures make you less worthy of love and healing and good things. They do not. You think the times you fell apart, the times you said the wrong thing, made the wrong choice, went in the wrong direction, those times have somehow marked you as less deserving. But they have not. Grace does not work that way. Grace is not a reward for doing well. Grace is a gift given freely, completely, and unconditionally to those who need it. And you need it. And it is here. And it has been here all along, waiting patiently for you to stop trying to earn what was already freely given. Think about the way a father loves a small child. When a toddler stumbles and falls, the father does not stand over the child with a scorecard. He does not lecture the child about proper technique. He does not wait for the child to prove they deserve to be picked up before he picks them up. He simply kneels down, opens his arms, and holds the child until the crying stops. That is the picture of the love that is available to you right now. Not a love that stands at a distance and evaluates. A love that kneels down into your mess and holds you. A love that does not need you to be cleaned up first. A love that meets you exactly where you are, in the middle of the confusion and the pain and the uncertainty, and says, I am here. I have you. You are safe. You are not required to be brave. You are not required to be strong. You are not required to have your faith perfectly intact, or your prayers perfectly worded, or your heart perfectly surrendered. You are required only to be honest, and your honesty, your raw, unpolished, sometimes fearful, sometimes doubting, sometimes barely hanging on honesty. That is the most beautiful thing you can bring, because it is real, and real is exactly what love responds to. Not the performance of faith, but the reality of it. Not the appearance of trust, but the trembling, uncertain, stubborn practice of it, even when it does not feel natural, even when it does not feel safe, even when everything in you wants to give up on it. You have not given up, even now, even today, even after everything you have been through. You are still here, still reaching, still listening. And that tells the whole story. It says everything that needs to be said about the kind of person you are and the kind of faith you carry. Not a perfect faith, but a persistent one. And persistence, the quiet refusal to let go even when letting go would be easier, that is the heart of everything. My dear child, the atmosphere around you right now is not ordinary. Even if your surroundings look completely normal, even if you are sitting in the most familiar, mundane space imaginable, something is different about this moment. There is a weight to it, a sacred quality, a sense that you are not simply passing through time right now, but are standing in something significant, something that has been carefully and intentionally arranged, a moment designed specifically for you, placed precisely in the exact right spot on the timeline of your life. You may not feel it with your physical senses. You may not hear anything unusual or see anything remarkable, but somewhere deeper than your senses, in the place where your spirit lives, something is registering the significance of this moment. Something inside you knows that what is happening right now, in this quiet space, is not ordinary. It is holy. It is the meeting point of your need, and an answer greater than anything you could have arranged for yourself. Glory is often misunderstood. We tend to picture it as something spectacular and visible. We imagine it as blinding light and overwhelming power and dramatic transformation. But glory is just as often quiet. Just as often it is a hush that settles over a tired heart. Just as often it is a warmth that seeps into the cold places you had stopped expecting warmth to reach. Just as often it is the exact thing you are experiencing right now, this gentle, persistent, unshakable sense that you are not alone, that something greater is present, that you are known and seen and held in this moment by something vast and unshakable and completely committed to you. Do not rush past this moment. Do not skim the surface of it in your hurry to get to the next thing. Stay here. Let it settle. Let it sink into you. Let the stillness speak to the parts of you that have been noisy with worry for so long that they have almost forgotten what peace feels like. Because this is what peace feels like. Not the absence of problems, not the guaranteed removal of every difficulty, but this quiet certainty, deep down where it counts, that you are held, that you are not navigating any of this alone. That something ancient and wise and completely loving is involved in the details of your life in ways you cannot always see, but can, in moments like this one, begin to feel. Every breath you take in a moment like this is not wasted. Every second you choose to sit in stillness, rather than fill the quiet with noise and distraction, is meaningful. You are not doing nothing by being still. You are doing the most important thing. You are making room. You are opening yourself. You are becoming the kind of fertile ground where healing can take root and actually grow, rather than the kind of hard, packed, hurried ground where nothing has the chance to take hold. My dear child, a single act of kindness can help God's message reach someone who needs hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, you can stand with us through the PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for helping us spread God's love one soul at a time. My dear child, you are not alone in the battles you cannot see. The worries that visit you in the night, the fears that crowd your thoughts in the quiet moments, the unseen pressures that make your chest feel tight and your breathing feel shallow, none of those are being faced by you alone. Even when it feels that way with complete certainty, there are forces working on your behalf that exist entirely outside the range of what your eyes can see. Protection you have been given that you are not aware of. Interventions that have happened quietly, without announcement, in the background of your story, that you will only fully understand one day when the whole picture becomes clear. Moments when you felt a sudden peace and could not explain where it came from. Moments when the anxiety that had been crushing you lifted without any logical reason. Moments when something inside you steadied, when everything around you was still shaking. Those moments were not accidents. Those moments were not simply your own resilience kicking in. Those were the fingerprints of a love that guards you, that watches over you, that has never once looked away from you, not for a single second. You are surrounded by more care than you realize. The love that created you did not step back and leave you to figure everything out on your own. It remains actively, lovingly, persistently involved in the story of your life, working in the background, even when the foreground feels chaotic, arranging things you cannot see, protecting you from things you never knew were coming, holding back what would have broken you before you were strong enough to handle it, timing the arrivals and departures of things and people and seasons in your life with a precision and a care that you cannot fully appreciate from where you stand inside the story, but that you would be awed by if you could see it from outside. You are not small and unimportant in a vast, indifferent universe. You are deeply, specifically, personally known. Your name is not lost in a crowd of billions. You are seen as clearly and as individually as if you were the only person in existence. Every hair on your head, every heartbeat in your chest, every thought that crosses your mind, every hope you hold, and every fear you carry, all of it is known, all of it is held, and all of it matters to the one who made you, and who has never stopped being intimately, actively, lovingly involved in the details of your existence. So when the anxiety rises, when the darkness feels overwhelming, when the uncertainty of what is ahead makes it hard to breathe, remember this: you are not navigating this alone. You are accompanied. You are guarded. You are surrounded by a love that does not sleep, does not tire, does not lose track of you, and does not ever stop working on your behalf. Rest in that. Let it be the solid ground beneath your feet when everything else feels like it is shifting. My dear child, the things you have been waiting for have not been forgotten. The prayers that felt like they disappeared into the air the moment you prayed them, the hopes that you held so carefully and for so long, the promises that were spoken over your life that have not yet made themselves visible in your circumstances. None of them have been lost. None of them have been overlooked. None of them have fallen through the cracks or been set aside or decided against. They have been held, carefully, tenderly, safely held, away from premature exposure, away from the timing that would have brought them before you were ready to receive them fully. Think about the process of preparing a great meal. A good cook does not rush the thing that needs time. Some things must simmer slowly. Some flavors only develop when they are given the unhurried space to deepen and mature. Rush them, and you ruin them. Give them time, and they become something that could not have been achieved any other way. Your waiting has been like that, not a punishment, not evidence of being forgotten, or overlooked or less important than others who seem to receive their answers sooner. Your waiting has been preparation. The long simmering that produces depth of flavor that fast and easy never could. The promises over your life are not late. They are on time in a way that is larger than your personal timeline, in a way that accounts for things you cannot see from where you stand, in a way that considers not just what you need now, but what you will need in the season after the fulfillment, in the season of living with what comes after the answer arrives. You have been being prepared not just to receive the thing, but to carry it well, to steward it wisely, to not be overwhelmed or undone by it, to be the kind of person who can hold a blessing without it breaking you. The waiting has not been wasted. Every day of the in-between, every morning when you woke up and the thing you were hoping for was still not there, and you had to choose, once again, to keep going anyway, every one of those days has been building something in you. Character, depth, a kind of unshakable trust that cannot be manufactured quickly, that only comes through the long, slow practice of choosing to believe, even when believing is hard. That is what you have been doing, and it has been counting for something. Every single day of it. Now something is shifting. The season of preservation is giving way to the season of release. The things that were being held for you are beginning to move toward you. Not because you finally did enough, not because you finally performed well enough, or believed hard enough, or prayed long enough, but simply because the time is right, because all the ingredients are in place, because the preparation is complete, and the fullness of the moment has arrived. And you, dear child, are standing right in the middle of it. My dear child, there is an invitation being extended to you today that goes against everything your instincts will tell you. Your instincts say, chase, pursue, strive, work harder, believe stronger, do more. But the invitation being extended to you today says something different. It says, stay, be still, let the thing come to you. Not because effort is wrong, not because striving is always bad, but because there is a specific kind of breakthrough that cannot be chased into your life. It can only be received. It can only come when you stop running long enough to be found. You have been running after answers, running after relief, running after the future you are desperate to reach. And there is nothing wrong with the longing that fuels that running. The longing itself is good, but running can become a way of not dealing with the present. Running can become a way of trying to outpace the pain, rather than letting it be healed. And what is being offered to you today is not speed. It is depth. Not acceleration, but arrival. A different kind of arrival than you were expecting. An arrival into presence rather than into circumstance. When you stop running and simply stay in the stillness, something remarkable happens. The thing you have been chasing begins to turn around and come toward you. The breakthrough that seemed always just out of reach begins to find you in the place where you have become still enough to receive it. Because breakthroughs, the real ones, the lasting ones, the ones that actually transform rather than just temporarily relieve, those breakthroughs are not just events. They are alignments. They require you to be in a particular inner posture to receive them fully. And that posture is not striving. It is surrender. It is the open, quiet, trusting posture of a heart that says, I cannot make this happen. I cannot force this into being, but I trust the one who can. Staying in this place, the place of quiet, surrendered trust, is not passive. It is the most active thing you can do. It is the place where your heart is most fully aligned with what is being prepared for you. It is the place where the breakthrough finds the exact conditions it needs to arrive with its full weight, its full meaning, its full transformative power. You are not waiting in vain. You are positioning yourself for something that will change everything. And it is closer than you think. My dear child, somewhere along the way, you stopped feeling things fully. Maybe it happened slowly, so gradually that you did not notice it happening. Or maybe it happened all at once, in the wake of something too large and too painful for your heart to hold without shutting some part of itself down to protect the rest. Either way, there came a point where the feeling faded and numbness moved in, quiet and gray, and somehow both a relief and a loss at the same time. Numbness is the heart's way of protecting itself when pain becomes unbearable. It is a mercy of a kind, a temporary covering over the wound so that you can keep functioning, keep breathing, keep moving through your days without being completely undone. And for a season, it served you. It kept you upright when falling would have been the easier thing. But numbness was never meant to be permanent. Numbness was never meant to become a way of life. It was meant to be a temporary shelter, not a forever home. And now, something is beginning to thaw. Not because you forced it. Not because you decided today was the day to feel everything you have been not feeling. But because warmth has been entering the cold places slowly, steadily, without announcement, the way the first days of spring begin to soften ground that has been frozen all winter. You may have noticed it. A moment of unexpected emotion. A tear that surprised you. A sudden swelling of something in your chest that you cannot quite name. An unexpected moment of beauty or connection or hope that got through the numbness and landed somewhere real inside you. Those moments are not accidents. They are the first signs of reawakening. They are evidence that the frozen places inside you are beginning to respond to a warmth that has been consistently, patiently, tenderly at work. You are not going to stay numb forever. You are not going to live the rest of your life behind the gray wall that pain built. Life is returning. Feeling is returning, not all at once, because all at once would be too much, but gradually, gently, in a pace that is perfectly calibrated to what your heart can handle. Do not be afraid of the feeling that is beginning to come back. It may feel unfamiliar at first, even uncomfortable, even frightening, because you have been not feeling for so long that feeling again requires an adjustment. Let it come. Let the tears come if they come. Let the unexpected waves of emotion move through you without fighting them. You are not falling apart. You are coming back together, and every feeling that returns, even the difficult ones, is evidence that your heart is alive and that the healing that has been quietly at work in the unseen places is beginning to become visible. This is restoration. Not the dramatic, instantaneous kind, but the real kind. The kind that works from the inside out and takes the time it needs to do the job properly. The kind that does not leave you looking healed on the outside, while you are still broken on the inside, but that actually, genuinely, thoroughly restores what was lost, rebuilds what was broken, and brings back to life what the pain tried to put to sleep. You are going to feel again, fully, beautifully. You are going to find the capacity for joy and wonder and connection, and hope that you thought was permanently gone was never actually gone. It was just waiting for the warmth to reach it. And the warmth is reaching it now. Stay open. Let it in. Your heart was made for feeling, and feeling is coming home to you. Beloved, every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through PayPal, links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. My dear child, let this be the moment everything begins to change. Not because you have finally found the perfect words, or the perfect prayer, or the perfect level of faith, but because you have been honest, because you have stayed, because through everything, through the pain and the confusion and the waiting, and the hiding and the numbness and the doubt, you have kept coming back. You have kept reaching toward something greater than your own understanding. You have kept choosing, in small and sometimes barely perceptible ways, to remain open to the possibility that things could be better, that healing was real, that you were not beyond the reach of love. That choosing, that persistent, stubborn, beautiful choosing, has mattered more than you know. It has been building something in you that no circumstance can take away. A depth of character, a quality of resilience, a kind of knowing that can only be earned through the long, difficult road you have walked. And now that road is turning. The season that felt like it would never end is ending. The new thing that you have been waiting and hoping and aching for is beginning to take shape, slowly, surely, unmistakably, in the landscape of your life. You are loved beyond measure. You are seen completely. You are held with a care so thorough and so unshakable that nothing you have done or failed to do could diminish it. You belong, not to performance, not to striving, not to the endless exhausting effort of trying to be enough. You belong to love itself, and love has never once let you go. Carry this with you, not just today, not just in this quiet moment, but into every ordinary day that follows. Into the mornings when you are tired, and the evenings when you are uncertain, and the moments in between when the old doubts come knocking. Carry the truth that you are known, that you are held, that you are deeply and completely and unconditionally loved, because it is true whether you feel it or not. It is true whether your circumstances reflect it or not. It is the most solid, most reliable, most unshakable thing in your entire story, and it will carry you through everything that is still ahead. You are not at the end. You are at the beginning of something new, something that has been carefully prepared for you in the long season of waiting, something that carries the fingerprints of a love that has been working on your behalf every single day, even the days when you could not feel it. You are stepping into it now, one breath at a time, one moment at a time, one quietly courageous choice to keep going, to keep trusting, to keep your heart open, at a time. Go forward, dear child. The best of your story is not behind you. It is unfolding. Right now, in this moment and in all the moments that are coming. You are held, you are loved, and you are never ever alone.